It's the most wonderful time of the year. And it's Wow Ergonomics on a Friday. Are you in the Christmas spirit yet, Stephen?
Getting there. I've been out a couple of days this week already and had some long car journeys. And of course, as you flick through the radio stations, it's just the Christmas songs are starting to ramp up. I got the feeling this year a lot of people were playing on Monday as the day, a month to go, 25th of November. So it used to, I always felt it was the 1st of December, which when it started. Excuse me. Quick drink.
Bit of Glühwein.
But they seem to have pulled it back by a week now. We now seem to be starting on the 25th of November. Now, I know other stuff goes on before, but a lot of people seem to have drawn that line in the sand is it's exactly a month to go. It's game on for Christmas.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, and I'll let you get some more water while I'm doing that. But it's interesting you should say that because I noticed that Tesco's, it was first, other supermarkets are available, had their Christmas trees in about a week and a half ago. And then I got told off yesterday by my daughter.
Okay.
Because she and Mum were at another supermarket, which is where we were going to purchase Christmas tree. And apparently there was a really nice one there. It was about 7 foot and it was really big and whatever. And they texted me and say, should we get the tree? And I said, no, bar humbug. But the reason I said that is because I just thought if we get it this early, it's going to die.
Yeah.
It's not going to look that great, you know. And I was thinking, well, at least wait till the weekend. At least wait to the beginning of December to get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. Didn't I get that in the neck this morning? Oh, it's going to be gone now. We're going to have a rubbish Christmas tree this year. It's all your fault, Dad. You're the Grinch. Oh. There we go.
Now, it makes you think, though, and I'm going back to what I was saying about this 25th of November, and you mentioned their retailers. It sort of follows on with, and it would have been planned before then, so it may be coincidental, but I think it was earlier this week or back end of last week, they were talking about how the shops had performed poorly, weren't they, for the last few months? And it makes you start thinking, do the supermarkets, the retailers, just sort of cotton on to that and just try and draw that money out of us a little bit sooner? We haven't had there's some great poor retail figures. Let's start bashing Christmas out a little bit earlier. So now it's not the 1st December, it's the 25th, and it's just pulled back ever so much from there.
Let's discuss that and ADHD and business support with our special guest today, who's the wonderful Emma. Hello, Emma.
Hello, Emma.
Hello. I was going to say good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for everyone else.
Whatever it is, it's good.
So you join us in the middle of the great Christmas debate. I'm gonna go with this, right?
Okay.
Emma, you'll get used to this. I come up with my theories, and then everybody goes, right. My theory is on the Christmas tree thing. The retailers have worked out that just in the same way it works with boxes of or those tubs of chocolates, they actually can do it with Christmas trees as well. They want now for us to buy a Christmas tree early so that it fails and then we have to get another one. So it's a twofer. We basically they're going to make us buy 2 trees. And it won't be their fault. It will be like, oh yeah, well, you bought your tree early. It's, you know, but you had a nice tree early, so you can't be disappointed. And if the price is right, you see, if the price is right, it's okay. And psychologically, people think, now, this is very true. And the reason I think this is because said supermarket, the first one that I'm aforementioned one that I talked about, what they've done is that on their special card price, it's half price at the moment. So if you've gone early to buy your first Christmas tree, it's half price, making it really quite inexpensive to buy that first tree. But you see what they've done there. What they're doing is they're making you think, like, get in early, get that Christmas tree. Whoa, what a steal at that price! And then they're going to sell you another one later on. It's another way of trying to get you back in to the shop later on.
There could be legs in that.
Yeah.
Because historically, in our household, we have ended up doing just that because the pine needles all fall off, and you think to yourself, that's my fault. I didn't water it properly. I put it too close to the radiator. So you think to yourself, oh, I better get another one so it's all perfect for Christmas. So you kind of, that's mind-blowing that maybe they have planted that seed for me to do that.
I like how you use that metaphor there, planted that seed when we're talking about trees.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Do you know, I think about it, we have a small supermarket, not with the one that you mentioned earlier, one that begins with an S, one of their locals quite near us. And mini Christmas trees, I reckon, have been outside for at least 3 weeks, if not 4 weeks.
Wow.
Easy.
I'm going to start a campaign, cruelty to trees.
I know, I feel kind of sorry for them because they're all discarded straight after Christmas, and you think, oh, you poor tree, you had a family at one point.
Do you know what we should do?
I do feel sorry, but it's a good charity fundraiser, though. I don't know whether it's by either of you, but a local hospice then offers to come and collect your tree for a £5 once you've finished with it, which again is a great way of A, getting it recycled, but B, a little bit of a charity donation, and C, it saves my car being absolutely full of pine needles.
There you go. Now, before we go any further, and I want us obviously to talk to our wonderful guests and find out all about them. I just got to bring this to everybody's attention as well. This is something that popped up on my LinkedIn feed today. I don't know whether it did for you. It's obviously to do with the people that I follow, but Thursday, the 12th of December, is Save the Children's Christmas Jumper Day, and it's back. So, there you go. Just making that available to all of us out there. So, millions. Can
we get that along the bottom of the screen, Graham, as a little one of your nice little banners?
I'll do that in a second. Yeah. So, just read this out because this is what came through. Millions of people across the UK will don their daftest jumpers, strut in their least stylish sweaters, or prance in their most preposterous pullovers. That's a lovely bit of alliteration to create lasting change for children. And they're asking people to sign up for it. Last year, a mind-blowing 27,000 workplaces took part. That's more than 1 million people, and they raised 1.5 million for children. I think that's brilliant. So there we go. I just thought I'd put that in there, and I will.
Can you wear a Christmas T-shirt on a Christmas jumper day? Or has it got to be a full-length woolen garment, or can we go T-shirt?
I reckon. Well, I reckon you can go T-shirt. Yeah. That's fine. Well, you're not a jumper person. You're more of a T-shirt person.
Not massively. And then also, I usually wear it when I'm cooking the Christmas dinner, and it's sometimes a bit too warm to wear a jumper. So I usually go with Christmas T-shirt from a retailer, beginning with the letter N, which is usually the staple retail outlet of choice for Christmas wear in our house.
There we go. So there it is down the bottom, folks. SaveTheChildren.org.uk/Christmas-jumper-day. Dashing through the dash. There we are. You see, lovely. There we go. Emma, tell us all about you.
I don't like talking about me. That sounds really random, purely because my business is always all about the client, all about how they feel. I started off in business as a virtual assistant. I now do business consultancy for business owners with ADHD. This come about because through my VA business, there was so many people coming to me saying, I've had a virtual assistant before. They didn't understand me. They tried to change me. They insisted I had to do X, Y, Z in my business. And then over time, I worked with said people. Everything runs smoothly. I've now got 80% of my VA business purely with neurodiverse people, individuals. And then ADHD Business Consultancy is a side from the virtual assistant business because I genuinely love helping people to live out their dreams in their business. So I have my team of expert virtual assistants that understand neurodiverse mind, and I do the business consulting side of things as my main source now. But yeah, anything is possible if you've got a dream, no matter how you think. Like, I'm one of those people, never ever let anyone say no. There's always a solution. We just got to find the way there.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And it's hard work. It's hard work, but it is entirely possible. You know, I think that's an important point to caveat that with, because I think some people think that you can solve all the problems in business easily, or the route to making money, or the route to a successful business is easy. It's not. You know, you've got to put the hard work in. You've got to be dedicated to it. You've got to expect things to go wrong along the way as well. Nothing's perfect along the journey, but that doesn't mean to say you can't do it. It just means to say that perhaps you need some help and perhaps you're doing it wrong. Now, having
the right support network around you, that people genuinely want you to sucsucceed.
Absolutely. Now, we bonded at an event. We met at an event, and I think the thing that sort of like drew us to each other in terms of this kind of work is I, like you, have always been a bit kind of disappointed, shall I say, that lots of ways in which we try and help people who are neurodiverse out there in business is we try and change them. We try and take away this way of genius way that they think, etc. Because what we go is, actually, this is a pain. What it would be so much better if people with dyslexia could spell. It would be so much better if people with dyscalculia knew what their numbers were. It would be so much better if people with ADHD could actually concentrate on something for more than 5 minutes, or when they are concentrating on something, you know, they don't get sidetracked by something else. You know, and we still kind of try and coach people, and even for my view is that, and I'll go out on a limb here, I think even the way that we try and subsidize support through government schemes and whatever in the UK at the moment, a lot of that is around trying to coach these people out of their neurodiversity. It's like, now let's give you a bit of software that will help you think in a better way. Let's all, you need to organize your tasks. Organize your tasks. You need to be good at this. Be good at this. No, you don't. And it's so much better if you allow people to be rubbish at stuff as well. Good at what they do, rubbish at the stuff that they don't do. We talked about this a fair bit, haven't we, on the show recently, Stephen? But isn't it this? I think this subject is going to become more and more to the fore in 2025 and onwards, don't you?
I think so. I think you're absolutely right. I think we don't want, it's almost trying to push people into that sort of mold, isn't it, to make everyone sort of exactly the same, where actually the opportunity is harness those great things that people with neurodiversity bring to the party, and sort of work with them. Don't try and change them. And as you say, it's very frustrating. It's that balance though, isn't there? Because I think you want to do that, but there will be some, you mentioned software and bits and pieces and kit, whatever it be, there'll be some things that actually will make the task more enjoyable for them, and help a little bit to sort of bring in sort of not in line, but almost to sort of help get closer to other people in their workplace, but equally without changing them. It's that balance, isn't it, between you want to obviously offer support, but you don't want to change them too much.
Yeah.
So you say that I do an awful lot of, I will go into a company where the CEO has got ADHD, for example, and the staff don't quite understand how their mind works, and the staff get really frustrated with the boss. And then there's like it's like a weird, like I'll walk in and I'm straight away thinking it's just an understanding. People are not understanding the way each other are thinking. So I do an awful lot of being like a mediator for the time being, and there's a bit of education of people understanding. Oh, okay, fair enough. Because I think it's the right way doesn't mean it is the right way. It's the right way for you, but not for you. Like everyone's got to find their own individual way of working, and ultimately, a business will run itself if you've got the right people in the right places and the understanding of each other's individuality.
Absolutely.
So is that something you come across a lot, Emma? That sort of blurred, not I say blurred lines of communication. In other words, both sides think they're communicating
effectively, but
in effect they're not joined up. So they're almost they're talking, but they're not. It's sort of a slight communication disjoint. Is that where a lot of it comes from?
There was something the other day where I was in a meeting and the boss was talking to the staff. And he said this, and this, and because he has ADHD, bless him, he was trying to get to the end result, filling up all the gaps, going off on a tangent in case they needed that information. So there was so much information that he was giving the staff, and they literally were like, ooh, and then they just started just not paying attention. And I'm like, whoa. So I had to gently just reach my hand out to the boss and just put my hand on his shoulder. And he was like, oh, okay, I'm going off on a tangent. And then I was then able to say, like, just to summarize what he meant, but in their way of thinking, if that made sense. But it happens so much that if I wasn't in that meeting, both sides would have thought I have no idea what that meeting was all about.
Right.
It's mad. So I kind of like got to it was a good meeting in the end, but
And is that a case, I mean, then of getting the person who you said the MD is ADHD, is it getting them to change the way they present? Is it getting the people who are listening to change, or is it a combination of both to get that nice marriage?
There's definitely a combination of both. But what I find is if you break the train of thought for the person with ADHD, it's disastrous, because it kind of you've completely wrecked their flow, which is why I don't tend to butt in, but like just gently put my hand there so then they can go, oh, okay. But with the neurotypical, it's a case where I find a lot of people tend to get impatient really easily, and it's making them understand, in actual fact, what you're listening to. If you just had that little diddly bit more patience, it's going to be mind blown. Just listen to what they're saying, and you're going to be like, oh, wow.
The best way to understand this is basically think about it like a foreign language, right? The best way to understand, I guess, what Emma does, and I'm involved in this sort of process as well with clients. What we do is we're like C3PO, right?
You speak a million languages.
Humans, yes, we speak lots of languages in terms of, I guess, the sort of psychological language, the dialogue, the narrative, the understanding of people, and we can interpret that, and we can help people interpret that, right? And I think a lot of people need that in their business, because they are, it's true. If I called a meeting with someone who has ADHD, and it gets even more complicated when you've got like dual diagnosis of ADHD and autism, etc. Right? and I said, we're going to talk about this. You can bet your bottom dollar, right, that if I didn't set some kind of, understanding of what's going to go on in that meeting, there will be a million different things come out of it, because it would be this idea, that idea, this idea, that idea, this idea. And for someone at the other end, they're just going like, so what do I do then? What do I do? I've started a bit of work with one team, and like some of the youngsters that are on that team are literally, I don't know, I don't understand what tasks I'm meant to be doing, because it's just coming out like this, right? And so what you've got to do is you've got to kind of it's kind of breaking that down for both. It's allowing that spurt to happen without going that's bad, because it isn't bad. That creativeness and that spurt, that being able to see the bigger picture straight away and being able to leapfrog from here to there, that's great thing. But it's understanding about how you can capture that, and then maybe go, right, I'll tell you what, that's all brilliant, but what we're going to do is I'm just going to park that over there for a minute, and for these people over there, they just need to do this for a minute, right, so that they can go off and focus, and they all go, thank you, I understand now. I'm going to go and do that, and I'm happy because that's what I'm going to do. But we're not forgetting any of that other great stuff that you've done. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to put it in some great clear pots, and we're going to work through those and bring them into the bigger picture. And we're going to keep all of that up there. So it's like spinning plates all the time, but it's great if you know how to spin plates. Right. And then you just pass the odd plate out to the people that can only cope with spinning one plate at a time. Yeah. That's probably the best way to, is that fair enough?
Do you know, when you were saying park that, I actually say that quite a lot. I said, amazing, absolutely amazing. Let's park that for now. I say it so often. And I have literally lists for each of my clients, because I know that the conversation will come up again and again and again. So there's I have to make sure that priority, that it will all get done. But totally missed my train of thought there. But yeah, no, I think it's a case of, for me, validating every single thing or idea that comes out of their mind. Validating it all, never forgetting it, but always making sure it is revisited. Because the worst thing is when you leave a conversation and then you don't do anything with it, that's just the worst. Because it's maybe for that person it's out of sight, out of mind, but there will be a point where they will get a jolt and go, oh, we had that conversation. It might be months later, but I'm always mindful you cannot be disrespectful to the fact that they did have that amazing point. And then it has to be brought up at a later date for all the other people. Yeah.
I just want to raise another point in here as well. In the same way that a lot of people with ADHD can have all of these amazing ideas and be throwing stuff out there, at great speed, right? Because they've done this rapid jump, right? If you've decided on a process and there is a process, or there's a part of a process that they're then following, and somebody else cuts through that process because they put a spanner in the works, that is traumatic to the nth degree for them, right? Had it with a client this morning. Contacted this client. They said to me the other day, I want to do this. It's now 10th hour and they've decided they want to do that. That is like the worst thing, right? So and I think for a lot of people, it feels like a contradiction, right? Because it feels to them like, well, but this person almost seems like they can't stick to a path, right? And yet when we veer off from the path, they can't cope with it, And again, so part of it is trying to explain that communication as well. If I had an app,
here we go.
If I had an app, and if there's a developer watching that wants to do it, right?
We copyright it. Any ideas that come out of this, we obviously copyright.
Yeah.
So don't go anyone grabbing these ideas.
I'd love to create an app called Assumptions, and what this app, it'd be a social app, right? And what this social app would do is it would allow us to, when you connect with somebody, you can only connect with somebody, right, by you see their profile, and you see like conversations and what they're posting and stuff like that, and then it asks you to make a load of assumptions about, offload your assumptions about them, and they have to offload their assumptions about you.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. And then when you've together worked through your assumptions by some kind of little gamification, then it allows you to connect, right? Because actually that is the big problem in the world right now, which is that we just make assumptions about other people. We make assumptions, especially on the communication side of things. We make so many assumptions about how other people communicate, and we also make a lot of assumptions about how other people receive our communication, and we don't give respect to the fact that other people may not think or communicate in the same way as us. And it's the biggest, this is single-handedly the biggest problem for any manager out there in the world today, is managing now a hybrid working, a part remote, part on-site, asynchronously working team of people who don't necessarily all sit right next to each other all the time, without prejudice, without assumptions, with the right amount of respect to enable everybody to work effectively together. It's the biggest problem.
It's scary how when I was younger, bosses were the bosses, even if they said something I did not agree with, or it would go so far as you would have a coffee and then go, oh, they done that, and then you go back and still have respect for that manager, because even though you didn't understand why they made a certain decision or whatever, they were the manager. Whereas nowadays it's almost as if, and this is in my experience in what I do, it's almost as if that manager has to be looking after everyone's emotions, beliefs, understanding, and also manage themselves. And it's just overwhelming. It really is. And that's for anyone, whether you have any of your home problems or whatever anyway, or yeah, it's mad. Things have changed. There's a lot to think about in just opening the door nowadays and going to work.
Emma, how does I mean, obviously working from home is a phenomenon that's been going for a number of years now. Well, in the last 3 or 4 years, it's really sort of ramped up, as we know. How does that then fit with the CEOs who you work with ADHD? How does that sort of working from home piece, where they can't physically see an individual maybe 2, 3, even hard. 4 days a week?
I work myself remotely, as well as I travel all over the place as well to visit a lot of my clients in person in their environment, because it's really hard to gauge emotions and body language just when you literally can see this much. And so a lot of my clients, they try not to let their staff work remotely because of that element. It's really hard to, do you know what I mean? Kind of like want to say it without being rude. It's hard to gauge what people are doing in the first place if they don't understand how the manager's mind is working, let alone if they're not in the same room. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But then equally, sort of following on from that, is that then causing even more challenges in their business? Because the because there's a perceived lack of wanting people to work from home, and that then create some sort of animosity is the wrong word, but coming back from the employee, the neurotypical employee you were saying, does that then cause frustration for them that why can I not work from home?
Not necessarily, because the ones that they do let work from home, there has to be, and this is irrelevant of what job you do, if you can work from home, there has to be a set agenda and an understanding of what's going to be achieved. Whether you're at home or in the office, you still have to say to the boss, this is what I'm doing today, this is what I've achieved. So as long as you have the open communication, it should work. But there are situations where, like a Monday meeting, those can be harder to have remotely than in the office. So those sort of situations, there has to be an understanding of we kind of all have to be here in person. But no, I do understand that, like, because of COVID, like everyone anything's possible nowadays, just sitting on your couch. It's scary, but
I have another app.
Okay. Here we go.
It was based out of that conversation. I have another app, again, for anyone that wants to develop it, and it works with all of your favorite meeting choices, Teams, Zoom, whatever else. And it's this, and it's quite similar, actually, in some respects to the app that I was helping develop when I was in my last paid role. Okay, and that was to do with students with cognitive processing issues, understanding how to take effective notes. I think it would be incredibly good if, when we do have all of these remote meetings, rather than I sit here and I write my set of notes about what that happened in that, and you sit there and you write that and whatever, or as we do have at the moment quite effectively, you can have somebody that, have a bit of AI that transcribes it and just creates a transcript, and that gets disseminated to everybody. How about this? The AI does the transcription, etc., but against any bit of the audio stroke video as well, I can sit there and I can go, right, that's important, right? And that's important. And then what I can do is, from that bit of audio stroke video, I can say, right, that's a task. That's a task. I think, right. And then I can weigh up the tasks and say, I think that's the most important and whatever as well. And it brings all of those different elements together. So the bit of the meeting, that's the task. Here's the transcript around it as well. So you've got all of that information captured together, right? Then this is the really clever bit, right? You can tell I'm slightly neurodiverse. This is the really clever bit. And then what the technology does is it looks at everybody's different answers and it shows people, right, this is on a weighting scale, this is what everybody thought was really important. This is the top priority task. But it shows like an overview as well. Right. And then it allows those different tasks and everything to be kind of put into a nice system so that we can keep it all there and we've captured it all, but we can, as an organization, we can work on the prioritization of that. Wouldn't that be genius?
Mm-hmm. All I was thinking was,
I'm going now.
No, we need it. All I'm thinking is we need a feature in this show. Graham's app of the week or something like that, get designing on some like sort of flashy logo, but every week you come up with a new app, and on some weeks too, because I think you're a frustrated app designer. You've got some great ideas. They're just like
I probably am. I just think that technology can help us in this, right? I do think it can help us in this. It's not the be all and end all. We need people like Emma as well, who can really help us make the connection and make us understand. But actually, if we're going to go off and then do these random activities, once we get the help, because part of the thing that someone like Emma will help with is helping us understand each other and understanding how we communicate with each other, etc. And that's a really important part of the process. But in terms of some of the processes that we then do, if we could create technology that actually was a little less passive and actually helped us to gather some more of this juicy information and bring it back to the table in a more colorful way, then actually we could really use that. Right. But I'm going to say this, I think too much technology at the moment doesn't do that, because it's programmed by people, or it's conceptualized by people that think in a typical way. And that's why it doesn't allow for that juicy kind of behavior.
I think the best, if you can have a technology that can see inside your mind, because already I'm seeing the picture of how you're mapping it out, but not everyone can, and they're listening to what you're saying and they're going, so if there was a technology that was able to physically go, this is what he meant, this is what, it'd be amazing, because the apps out there tend to have too many rules, but sometimes the rules actually stop the flow of the amazingness that could actually. So I think that's where the human element comes in, because it can see past certain rules and go, actually, let's try this, let's try that.
Well, we do know that a certain world's richest man, entrepreneur with rockets and electric cars, etc., has been looking at nanochips for quite a while, and probably is probably thinking about that. Probably because he thinks that kind of way himself, and probably would love other people to understand him a bit better. But that's enough said on that said subject, because obviously it's a little bit controversial at the moment, with various people leaving one of the platforms to go elsewhere. But no, this is a really interesting topic. And just very briefly to kind of wrap up today as well, Stephen, do you see how this then has an impact on kind of the physical well-being of people in the workplace as well?
I do, and it's interesting you say that, because obviously I've been spending quite a lot of time over the last few weeks going around and working with our partners who get involved in doing a lot of assessments, doing assessments in the workplace. And it's really interesting how they are talking more around neurodiverse and how can physical products, be they from ourselves or from other manufacturers or other sectors, how can physical products support neurodiversity in the workplace? So I do think it's starting to become something that's starting to be a bigger portion of an assessment, is that they're not just looking at physical ailments and the traditional shoulder issue, neck issue, etc., but they're really started looking into the neurodiverse side of an assessment as well, and thinking, does a physical product, can it enhance the workplace experience of that neurodiverse individual? For example, I had it the other week talking about, and I say I don't want to get too typically producty about what we do, but it's sort of relevant. One of the products we do is a lamp that changes color throughout the day in line with the natural circadian rhythm. But it was interesting that a number of assessors picked up on that, and they thought that would be something that would work really well for someone who had sort of a neurodiverse part of their assessment. That ability to introduce a product like that may make it more comfortable and compatible for someone in the workplace. So you're starting to see a little bit of that come in, Graham, into the assessments, is how can those physical solution products help around neurodiversity?
I think you've got actually even much clearer solutions than that when it comes to this. I think I personally, over the years, one of the ones that you do that I think helped a great deal for a lot of people with neurodiversity is a flex desk, because and just to explain them, a flex desk, great product, is a desk on a desk, and it enables you to put papers and stuff and whatever that you're like your notes and whatever that you're working on over the top of your keyboard, so you can write there, and then you just push it away. It slides back and reveals the keyboard, so you can then work from those notes. But the amount of times that I put one of those in not only helped from a postural point of view, because people kind of leaning over to write and type and etc., but because they went, yeah, I can find my notes now.
Actually, the organisation piece, I guess, it's almost like an organizer. It's an organizer that sits on a desk, as you say, I guess, and not having a huge sort of amount of experience in that sort of field around some of the neurodiverse things that you'll work with, Emma. But I guess if someone can have a nice, clearer, not necessarily a clean desk, but a clearer desk and feel more organised, that probably is a
I'm just setting up an example right now.
There you go.
Hold on. Let's grab that. Oh, let's put that here. Right.
A lot of my clients do have tiers of tiers, and everything makes sense to them. But if anyone that came in touched their desk, especially when it comes to notes, it's like, don't touch it, because it will make complete sense to the user, the mess, but it's organized mess.
Exactly. I'm now going to kind of demonstrate. Just set this up. This would be kind of a typical neurodiverse note pile. Here we are. So plate, cup, pile of notes.
Okay.
And you know exactly what's in that pile, don't you?
I do, actually. I know exactly what's in that pile. But the point is, if it's then quite difficult for me to access that and whatever else, then actually I'm probably going to spend a lot of time twisting, going through that and whatever. I'm probably going to waste a lot of time, etc. But if I had a space on the desk that's kind of the desk is redesigned for me, so I can like put them there, push them away, carry on typing whatever, and then I just put it down and it's all there again. That would help. That would help, you know. And if I got the training to go with it, the training's really important. If I got the training to go with it, so that, you know, I understood how I could work in a slightly different way, allowing me to still be slightly chaotic. Saying to me, I don't have to clean my desk up. And I tell you what, the amount of times I saw that product out there, Stephen, it's covered in sticky notes as well. And but that's not a problem. It is a problem. It is a problem for some architects. Sorry, architects, they hate that. They want everything in an office to look clean and clear. But it's not a problem for people to use it like a portable on-desk whiteboard. It's not a problem at all. If it helps them be slightly more productive. So I think you're right. I think it's something that people need to look at. I think it should be part of the overall well-being conversation. It's going to be part of the overall well-being conversation going into 2025. Emma, in terms of your own business, who are you looking for right now? Are you looking for any more business right now? If you want people to reach out, who
I love to talk and meet new people. And I genuinely love helping. If there's any business owner out there, you don't have to be neurodiverse, but if there's any business owner out there that does not feel understood or knows in their heart of hearts their business idea is amazing, but they're not getting the right feedback from other people, so they're just like, and then they start doubting themselves. I love speaking to those types of people, because it may just be a case that they need someone that goes, oh, that's what you mean. Do you know what I mean? It's like that light bulb moment. So it's not necessarily like I always do free consultations to anyone that wants to maybe reach out and discuss things. They don't have to work with me if they don't want to, but I just love making the connections and being of some help. So yeah.
And if you're anything like me, ultimately, you know, knowing people, knowing what people do, understanding people, having those dialogues, even if they might not be customers, even if they might not be clients, etc., they might be collaborators, they might be people that can help, they might be people that can signpost, etc. So I think it's every conversation in business is always worthwhile. There we go. We'll be back same time, same place next week. Thank you so much, Emma, for being our guest.
Thank you for having
by
me.
next week I will have a Christmas tree. You might have one too. If you do, let us know the size of it in the comments. Do remember one last time, the Save the Children Christmas Jumper Day, 12th of December. Get involved this year. Wear a silly jumper. I've got an elf one which comes out every year, but it's a toss between that up between that one and I've got a Marmite Christmas jumper now, which I quite fancy because it's kind of you love it or hate it.
Yeah.
And as we've only got 3 more shows before Christmas, as people always talk in relation to Christmas, are we saying from Friday the 6th, are we going Christmas jumper / Christmas t-shirt all the way into Christmas?
Absolutely
Right.
we are. In fact, I will put up fairy lights in the background as well, so I will continue that theme. And I think we can just tease that we are going to have a big Christmas special this year as well. We've lined up a few people that you may have seen before.
Giants of the ergonomic field, I think we would describe them as, wouldn't we, Graham?
Yeah, monoliths of the of the ergonomic sector. And look forward to seeing that. Emma, once again, thank you very much. See you all next week. Bye for now.